I released a video yesterday about affordable dive watches and why everyone should have one in their collection. Today we're taking a look at one of the most affordable dive watches that I've ever featured here on my channel at $239, shipped with an extra strap, but that does not make it cheap. This is actually a really nicely made watch. It just comes in at a really good price. I have no idea how this company actually makes money on this watch. Considering what you're getting and considering the price, it also gets great lume. So stick around to the end of this video to see the lume shot on this watch, which is pretty incredible, again, considering the price. So let's flip the camera and take a look at one of the most affordable dive watches that I've featured here on my channel. So there are a few brands and watches that I feature here on my channel where I end up asking myself the question, how do they actually make money on these watches? And Oceanica are one of those brands, and this is definitely one of those watches. This is called the Mako, and it cost $239 shipped anywhere in the United States. So that means it costs much less than $239 because you're getting free shipping included, which is pretty crazy. And it also comes with an extra strap. So $239 shipped with an extra strap and a wood box. I don't know how they actually make money on this watch. It's pretty crazy. It's an automatic. You have an NH35 inside. You get great lume with this watch. You have a ceramic bezel, which is lumed. It has C3 Super Luminova. Then you have applied indices. Those are filled with lume. The hands also filled with lume. Even that second hand, that lollipop, is filled with lume. You have fence post hands on here. Everything is liberally applied with lume. You have somewhat of a matte finish dial, maybe a satin finish I would call it. The Oceanica logo right there, which is the shark, and it just says Oceanica right below that. Mako in red, and then 200 meters of water resistance, because this is a 200 meter water resistant watch. Also, this is somewhat of an homage to the Black Bay 41, I would say, because it's essentially a 41 millimeter case. I'll do measurements in just a few seconds, but the finishing, the overall finishing quality of this watch is a lot better than a $239 watch. It's excellent. I am very, very impressed. It's a substantial watch as well. Stainless steel, obviously, but you get these slab sides. You have a sign crown. It's just like a bullseye. I'm not sure what that is compared to the rest of the watch because it's not their logo, but I'm not entirely sure, but that's pretty cool. Looks good. It's not loomed or anything like that, but again, $239. I would expect it not to be loomed. It is slab-sided, as I mentioned, so you're getting brushing on the sides, and then you have a chamfered edge that is polished. You have polishing down the sides of the bracelet. You do get giant screws in the bracelet itself, which is excellent. The buckle is milled, and take a look at this. So it's basically your run-of-the-mill buckle from a micro brand, but you're getting 6 positions of manual micro adjust. So you're going to be able to get a really good fit with this watch because you have plenty of room to adjust. That is excellent. It is signed when you flip it over on the flip portion of the clasp itself, but it's just signed the name Oceanica. That's it. They said they are going to be improving the case back. The case back is etched. They said it will be molded. I guess that means it'll just be a little bit deeper of sort of an etching or something a little bit nicer than what it is now. It's not bad right now, but there you go. You have a screwed-in crown, screwed-in case back. That's how you get 200 meters of water resistance. You have an H-link bracelet on here. It is primarily brushed, as I mentioned, but you do have that polishing on the sides of the bracelet. Then the bezel action. The bezel action on this watch is excellent, especially, again, considering the price of $239. Let's listen to the bezel action. Everything lines up perfectly and it sounds and feels great. I think the only thing I don't like about the dial itself is, of course, the date. It cuts off the 3 o'clock index. I don't personally like that. Also, it's a little bit bigger than the index at 9 o'clock, so I don't think it really evens out that well, but most people do want a date. Other than that, though, I don't think that's a big deal. I think most people would want the date. I'm just one of those people who don't need to have a date. I don't want it. but that's just me. So very quickly, what I'm going to do next is just do some quick measurements. Then I'll throw it on my 7.5 inch wrist, we'll do a lume shot because the lume on this watch is actually pretty good. Actually very good, especially considering the price. So 42.1 at the bezel. At the case, it measures just about 41 millimeters, just a little bit smaller than that. And then the crown, you have a giant crown on here, is 7.8 millimeters. Thickness on here, 200 meters of water resistance, as I mentioned. Sapphire crystal on the front, 13.5 millimeters. Lug to lug, you do have female end links on here, which is also very, very good. At the case, it is 47.2. At the bracelet, it is 47.9. The bracelet does stick out a little bit. So those female end links acting like male end links just a little bit, but nothing too crazy. So basically a 42 millimeter watch at that bezel, 41 at the case. It wears like a 42, maybe 41.5 millimeter watch, but I will show it to you on my wrist right now. Today I have on a new watch that I just recently purchased. It is the PRX Ice Blue in the Powermatic 80 version. A really beautiful colored dial on this watch. Very, very popular right now, and you can see why. It's a pretty good looking watch, especially considering the price on these, although it is a $675 watch. This is a $239 watch. It's 42 millimeters on my 7.5 inch wrist, as you can see, and I think it looks pretty damn good. It's just over 13 millimeters thick, so it's not on the thinner side, but that's because you have an NH35 inside. The only criticisms, like I said, I had for the watch, or have for the watch, is the date, which I'm not a huge fan of. And I think that if you put this bezel in a matte ceramic, I think it would look a little bit better. But that's, again, more of a personal opinion, I guess. I think it looks really good either way, but I think with a matte colored bezel insert, this would look phenomenal. And closer to a Black Bay 41. So obviously what they were going for here. Anyway, very quickly, let's do a lume shot and then wrap up the video. So I want to reiterate that this is a $239 watch shipped with an extra strap on the bracelet. This is $239 with all of this lume. This is a lot of lume. It's really liberally applied to that bezel, the indices, and hands. I think they're equally applied. So there is a lot of lume, and I would say liberally applied to the dial, the indices, the hands, and of course that bezel. It's bright and it lasts pretty long. I only charged it just for a few seconds, and you can see it's hanging on and it looks really crisp and bright. It's C3 Superluminova in a minty green and a minty blue color on the bezel, and then of course those indices. I think the indices are BGW9 and that bezel is C3. So there you go. Looks fantastic. Again, I can say it over and over again, $239 is a great price for the package that you are getting here. I believe this is a Kickstarter. I think the Kickstarter ends on Monday, so if you are interested in it, definitely check out their Kickstarter. I will put a link to their Kickstarter down below. If you are interested, definitely check it out for $239. Definitely worth it. Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.